The carving knife hovered mid-air, dripping turkey juices onto the lace tablecloth, as grandmother's face contorted into a mask of pure venom. The room, filled with the cloying scent of sage stuffing, the soft clink of silverware, and the warm glow of candlelight flickering off crystal glasses, froze in that instant. My aunts and uncles, cousins crammed around the extended oak table in the old Victorian dining room, stopped mid-laughter, their smiles curdling like spoiled milk. "You treacherous little bitch," grandmother spat, her voice cracking like thunder in the hushed space, her gnarled finger jabbing toward me like a dagger. "You've been the one all along, sending those filthy letters, digging up the past about your mother's death, demanding money, threatening to tell everyone what happened that night." My fork slipped from my fingers, clattering against the porcelain plate with a sound that echoed in my skull. Heart pounding, a cold sweat prickled my skin beneath my wool sweater, the fabric suddenly itchy and suffocating. I stared at her, the woman who'd raised me after Mom's accident 20 years ago, her eyes, once soft blue, now wild and bloodshot, boring into mine. The room spun. The mashed potatoes turned to ash in my mouth. I have no idea about it," I stammered, the words tumbling out automatically, my voice a whisper lost in the tension-thick air. But even as I said it, a flicker stirred in the depths of my mind. A rainy night, headlights slicing through sheets of water, a scream cut short. Aunt Lila gasped, her hand flying to her pearl necklace. "Mother, what on earth?" But grandmother slammed her palm on the table, rattling the gravy boat. "Don't play innocent, Anna. You were there, hiding in the shadows. You saw me. You saw what had to be done." Her words hung like smoke, acrid and choking. Uncle Tom cleared his throat, his chair scraping back on the hardwood floor. "This is Thanksgiving, for God's sake. Let's not." But she cut him off with a glare that could wilt flowers. "She's been bleeding me dry for months. Anonymous notes, postmarked from the city where she lives. Pay up or the truth comes out." Well, I'm done hiding. Humiliation burned my cheeks, hotter than the fireplace crackling behind me. The family stared, their eyes shifting from pity to suspicion. Cousin Mark avoided my gaze, fiddling with his napkin, while my sister Elena, always the perfect one, reached across the table, her voice saccharine. "Anna, if there's something wrong, we can talk about it later." But her touch on my arm felt like a clamp, her smile too tight, too knowing. Inside, denial raged like a storm. This couldn't be real. Grandmother had been my rock, baking cookies in her flour-dusted kitchen, tucking me in with stories of better days. Yet doubt crept in, slimy and insistent. What if I had repressed something? Fantasies flashed, me storming out, slamming the door on their judgmental faces, but I sat paralyzed, resentment simmering beneath the shock. As dessert was served in awkward silence, pumpkin pie that tasted like cardboard, I excused myself to the bathroom, the hallway's faded wallpaper closing in like a tunnel. Splashing water on my face, I stared at my reflection in the cracked mirror. Hollow eyes, trembling lips. Heartbreak clawed at my chest. If she thought me capable of blackmail, what did that say about our bond? Obsession took root then, a dark seed. That night, back in my childhood bedroom, the wind howling against the frost-laced windows, fragments returned. Mom's voice, sharp and slurred from wine. "You old hag, you'll never control me." A shove, a tumble down the stairs, the sickening thud. Grandmother's panicked whisper. It was an accident. For Anna's sake. Had I seen it? Hidden behind the banister, a scared 8-year-old. The betrayal hit like a gut punch. She'd lied all these years, raising me on a foundation of deceit, while the guilt festered in her. By dawn, as gray light filtered through the curtains, cold resolve hardened in my veins. I wouldn't deny it anymore. I'd uncover the truth, make her pay for stealing my mother's memory, for turning me into a suspect in her paranoia. But doubt lingered. What if exposing her destroyed us all? Moral conflict twisted like a knife. She was family, frail now, her hands shaking as she poured coffee. Yet the anger won, fueling quiet plans. I'd start subtle, dig through old boxes in the attic, search for evidence. Revenge whispered promises of justice, but fear nipped at its heels. What monster would I become? The weeks blurred into a haze of obsession. My apartment in the city, a war room of scattered papers and glowing laptop screens. The betrayal gnawed at me, a constant ache, turning sleep into fractured nightmares of that stormy night. Mom's body twisted at the stair's base, grandmother's sobs echoing off the wood-paneled walls. I'd returned home after Thanksgiving under a cloud of forced smiles, but inside resentment boiled. How could she accuse me? I muttered to the empty room, the hum of the fridge my only reply. Guilt flickered too. Had I subconsciously known, buried it to preserve our fragile peace? Fantasies of confrontation played out. Her confessing, begging forgiveness. But doubt poisoned them. What if she was right, and some buried rage had made me the blackmailer? I started small, slow-burn style to build suspense in my own mind. A weekend visit, feigning concern. Gran, about Thanksgiving. Are you okay? We sat in her sunroom, the scent of her lavender soap mingling with dust motes dancing in the light. She eyed me warily over her teacup, china clinking softly. Don't pretend, Anna. Those letters stopped after you left. Coincidence. Her voice trembled, revealing cracks in her armor. Fear, perhaps regret. I smiled inwardly, suppressed rage fueling my act. Maybe it's someone else. Tell me about Mom's accident again. She hesitated, her wrinkled hands twisting a napkin. Slipped on the wet floor. Tragic. But her eyes darted away, a tell I'd never noticed before. Digging deeper, I rifled through attic trunks under cover of nostalgia, the musty air thick with cobwebs and forgotten secrets. There yellowed police reports. No foul play. But a hidden diary. Mom's painted a darker picture. She's suffocating me, controlling the inheritance. If she pushes too far. Heartbreak surged. Grandmother had argued over money that night, shoved in fury. Betrayal crystallized. She'd killed for greed, then played saint, raising me to assuage guilt. Moral conflict raged. She'd sacrificed for me, bandaging knees, attending graduations. Was revenge worth shattering that illusion? Yet obsession drove me. I'd become the blackmailer now. Anonymous notes typed on library computers, demanding confession. Tension mounted with each letter. Phone calls came, her voice quavering. Anna, is it you? Please stop. I'd deny, voice steady, but inside fear churned. What if she broke? Planning escalated. A family gathering for Christmas, the perfect stage. I'd confront her privately first, record it, expose if needed. The drive there, snowflakes whipping against the windshield, mirrored my inner storm, cold resolve battling guilt. This is justice, I whispered, but doubt whispered back. Or vengeance. At the house, the air hummed with forced cheer, evergreen scent masking underlying strain. After gifts, I cornered her in the kitchen, the oven's warmth contrasting the chill in my bones. I know the truth, Gran. You pushed her. She paled, gripping the counter, veins bulging like rivers on a map. It was self-defense. She was drunk, attacking me. For you, Anna, she neglected you. Her confession spilled, layered with pain. Mom's abuse hidden, grandmother's act a desperate protection. Shock hit, my world tilted. But rage lingered, she'd lied, letting me grieve a saint. In that moment revenge twisted. I could expose her, watch the family crumble. Instead I froze again, echoes of Thanksgiving. I forgive you, I lied, hugging her frail form. But later, alone, I mailed the recording to the police anonymously. Poetic justice. Days later she confessed publicly, the strain triggering a stroke. She survived, paralyzed, her eyes meeting mine in the hospital. Knowing resigned. The twist. In her will she left everything to me, a note attached. You always knew deep down. This is your inheritance, and your burden. Heartbreak mingled with triumph. Revenge tasted bitter, my moral grayness a lifelong shadow. I'd won, but at what cost?